Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 68 of the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast. This episode is brought to you by Fuzzrocious Pedals. Go to the website fuzzrociouspedals.com and check out their selection of guitar and bass effects pedals. They do custom orders with hand-painted cases on the pedals. And while you're on the website, check out their list of clientele. It's impressive. This podcast is also brought to you by Wendigo Tea. You know, a few months back, I had to take some time off because I got a really bad pneumonia. And I could barely talk, so I couldn't do any episodes. And the good folks over at Wendigo Tea, my buddy Sky White, who was on the podcast on episode 26, that's his company, and he sent over some of his delicious Siren Throat Health Herbal Tea. I've never had anything like it before. It was just super flavorful. It really had that ginger snap that you need for when you have a sore throat. I had 1 to 2 cups a day for about 2 or 3 days, and my sore throat was gone. Super helpful for people that use their voice for a living, musicians, podcasters, anything like that. I highly, highly recommend it. And they have a whole bunch of other selections of Earl Grey tea and green tea, jasmine tea. I talked to Sky about it, and they was telling me how they go and they find the best ingredients in the world. So I highly recommend it. Go to their website, wendigotea.com. That's WendigoTea.com, wendigotea.com. And you can use the promo code RRBG for Rock and Roll Beer Guy. That's promo code RRBG. You'll get 15% off of your order. In this episode, I talked to the legendary King Buzzo, Buzz Osbourne of the Melvins. I was fortunate enough to get invited to the show, hang out backstage, and watch him sound check. And as soon as they were done sound checking, he went out back and met with me, and we chatted for about 35 minutes. It was a super interesting discussion. I had a bunch of other questions to ask him, but we ended up going on a tangent for a while on this topic of surviving on the road as a musician all these years, his thoughts on Spotify and how that affects his career, and a couple other social political issues. It was a real honor talking to him and getting to sit down with them and then watching the show afterwards. I highly recommend you catch a show soon. They've never sounded better. Right now they're on tour with Pinkerton. They have 2 bass players. It's fantastic. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please leave us a review on iTunes. Cheers. All right, welcome everyone to the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast. I'm sitting here with King Buzzo of the Melvins.
Hello. There we go. Is it working?
Yep, it's working.
Great.
Sorry about that.
It was a test run.
It was so crazy. Yeah,
these things happen, and you're not stoned, I'm assuming.
I'm not. I mean, I haven't started yet. No, I'm kidding. No, I haven't smoked.
I don't care what people do.
Yeah, we were just talking.
It doesn't bother me.
We were talking for a while, and the thing wasn't recording, but we were talking about stoned people, and you don't partake, which is good.
No, I don't.
We both used to heavily. I would say I used to heavily. I don't know about
you. I didn't just say no to anything. Still,
So you've tried them all back in the days.
Well, I tried what was in front of me.
Well, that's good. That's good to know.
I mean, it's one of those things where you can't. I'm far too libertarian-minded to think that I should be able to tell people what they can and can't do.
Sure.
I mean, if you want to do those sorts of things, I really, honestly, could not care less.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one thing we were just getting to was you guys play a lot of shows.
We do 80 to 120 shows a year.
How, man?
Give or take.
How do you do it? You've been doing it for so long.
Well, it's what we do. I mean, it's I decided a long time ago that I wanted to make my living playing music, and I have built my life around being able to do that, essentially. And also, once I got to the point where I was able to make ends meet by playing music, then I felt like it was my duty to continue to do that.
Right.
Whether it was making music or it was playing music live. Bob Dylan said something I really liked, which was they asked him, why do you still do as many shows as you do at your age? And he goes, well, that was the deal I made.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
That's the deal you made.
So you've seen it all. I mean, how have you been adapting to the current change in like the music industry? Because, record sales are low. People aren't really buying physical media anymore. They're just streaming.
And from all I've heard is that the streaming media is not really paying what it used to, or at all paying at all for some people. So how have you adjusted to this kind of new, streaming world?
Well, that kind of begs the question that bands at one point got paid.
True.
When was this golden era where these check writing angels were writing checks to all these bands?
Well, the checks are being written, but then they were owed back.
It's just never. I know indie labels, the worst of all, that never paid anyone anything ever.
Wow.
Especially back when. I mean, we all know those stories. I mean, without naming names, it's pretty easy to figure out. So, our joke has always been like, if you took all the people who ever were influenced or ripped off Bo Diddley and you put him in a big long line, he still wouldn't get any royalties.
That's crazy how that works out, man.
Bands that never got paid. There was never a time when they ever got paid. So nothing's changed for the bands.
Really? Well, I mean, I saw recently an article with Bill, Bill from Mastodon and
yes.
Braun. They were lobbying because of the streaming services and stuff like that. They're not getting. It's not financially viable to maintain their revenue stream like this through these streaming services. And they're not asking for all the money. They just figure if Spotify is cashing in, all of it, why not give the artist a little bit of it,
Yeah, good for them. Hopefully it'll work out,
So you guys,
I think genie's out of the bottle,
Yeah.
To me, it's like, I'm not sure where I stand on any of that. It'd be great if somebody down there decided they were going to start writing checks to people, but I have my doubts.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at something like a band like Metallica, for instance. They're all against YouTube and all those things.
Napster
so
and all that.
Do they imagine that they're selling out the Rose Bowl without YouTube?
Right.
Because it's not off of their new record sales. It's not off their new records being so amazing that 90,000 people want to see them.
Right.
It's off of things like YouTube.
Yeah, they see the video on YouTube.
That's why they want to go.
Yeah.
That's why the 14-year-old kid buys the ticket.
Yeah.
Not because they think that they're, Saint Anger or whatever their new album is. Not because they think that's so amazing.
Yeah.
That new album, whatever it is. I don't know what their new albums are, but that's so good. I just got to go to the concert. No, I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
It's the new technology and all those things are making that possible. And so I kind of think you kind of have to figure out. You kind of have to navigate around all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you steadfastly want the good old days, I just think that, there were people that invested in buggy whips right before the car was invented.
That's true.
And somebody who invested heavily in payphones right before cell phones came out,
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
They lost their ass. And it's like, do I think it's fair? No, but I never thought that especially indie labels were always ripping bands off. They never, ever, ever paid bands. So I just refuse to look at it like that there was ever a time when it was really good.
So what was the appeal then? Why were people signing their lives away to these deals? Like, if you're not getting paid?
I don't know that they were signing their lives away. It's hard to get somebody to pay you if they owe you money. I mean, we live in a funny country that nobody ever points this kind of thing out. A few people do. It's like, if let's say that an indie label owes you $50,000, and it's clear that they owe you $50,000, and you have a contract that shows that they owe you $50,000. Well, they're not going to go to jail for that.
No. They might get fined.
They're not going to go to jail, and they're not going to get anything.
Nothing?
You might be able to take them to court and prove that they owe you the money, but then you still have to collect the money.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you owe the government $50,000 in taxes, you will go to prison.
Yeah, that's
How
nuts.
is that okay?
Yeah, that's not okay.
So it's not okay for you to owe the government $50,000, but it's okay for me to owe you $50,000, and you can just stick it in your ass if I don't pay you. That's bullshit.
That is
why
bullshit.
people don't look at it that way. You got to pay your taxes. Well, no, says you.
Yeah. And even if you
don't, you'll come over and you'll throw me in prison if I don't do that. But if I'm owed that money from someone else, you don't give a rat's ass about that. You don't care about that.
Nobody goes to
That's
jail.
my tough luck.
Yeah.
I can fuck off. No, I'm not buying it. It's like we're thinking about all this stuff wrong.
That's true.
We're wrong about all of it. They're the enemy. They're the ones who take owing money seriously to the point of throwing people in prison, and they will not afford you that same.
The courtesy.
Thing. No.
Yeah.
Not in the least. So I'm not buying it. Make owing people money a bigger crime.
Yeah. Especially in that situation,
If
like
that's
for
the
musicians.
case, if you think, or don't make not paying your taxes a prisonable offense. It's one of the two things.
Jesus, man. Yeah, it is true.
You know?
I mean, I've heard.
So until that changes, nothing's going to change. Yeah. They take it really seriously when you owe them money.
Yeah.
You know, but
have you had that issue? Have you had that problem?
Oh, we're owed tons of money by people. Absolutely.
Oh,
you know,
man.
No band hasn't had that happen, but there's lots of people and lots of businesses that are owed a lot of money.
Yeah,
all the time, every single day. Does the government care? No. Will the sheriff come and make you pay me? No. Oh, we can garnish your wages. Yeah, who's got 15 years to work all that out?
That's where I'm at right now. Actually, I haven't had an income tax return in like 15 years because they just take it.
Right.
They just take it right back out.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and even I've heard
I'm just not buying it.
I've heard some politicians that say that that even income tax itself is a crime. Like that shouldn't be happening.
Well, it's because they outlawed alcohol, they needed another source of revenue and the First World War. So essentially, I mean, it's more complicated than that, but essentially that's what it is. But there's lots of problems. If things are going really good, politicians don't have anything to do.
Right. They have to create a problem.
They really, at the bottom of their dark little hearts, do not want things to go well for people. They're out of a job.
Jeez. Well, and that's where
they need to save the day. They need to have you believe that the only savior you have is them.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much the whole like conspiracy with the whole 9/11 thing. Like they did it so that we depend on them and they can take our they can tap our phones and all that shit. The whole the Freedom Act or
I don't know. I don't know if I believe. I'm
not
really,
saying that happened.
Conspiracies are really hard for me to buy into. Usually because that's too many ducks to get in a line. And generally, the people that are the buy-in, especially the 9/11 thing, they think George Bush was an idiot, but he was also a Machiavellian genius who came up with this 9/11 thing. I'm not buying it.
No.
And also, the Hells Angels have a really good saying about that stuff. They say that 3 people can keep a secret as long as 2 of those people are dead. Right.
That's true.
I'm not buying it. Yeah. I just don't. It's too hard for me to believe that they could do. It's like people can say all that stuff, but in the end. Could it have happened exactly as they said? Yes, it could have.
Sure.
Will it happen like that now? No. Something else will happen.
Well, something else is happening. I'm sure there's things happening all over the place. I mean, they've brainwashed their people so hard. Like that,
we don't need to. We're brainwashed. We happily do whatever they say.
That's true.
Yeah. Happily.
Yeah. No one revolts or riots anymore. I mean,
it's just like the thing I just said to you. No one ever thinks about that stuff. Well, why do I have to go to prison if I owe you money?
But then they don't have to go to prison if they.
But if I owe the government money, I have to go to prison.
Right.
But if I owe you money, nothing happens to me.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. Fine. Too bad. Nobody ever thinks of it that way.
Yeah, because I mean, I could sue you if you owed me money. It doesn't matter.
I'm still not going to pay you.
Exactly.
And then what are you going to do? You just wasted all your time and paid all these
lawyer
lawyers,
fees,
did all this crap, and I'm still not going to pay you.
Yeah. Right.
And if I don't have any money, it doesn't matter if you sue me or not.
Right.
And only a fool goes to court.
That's true.
Only a fool goes to court. You will gain nothing by doing that. Nothing. You got to work this out in another way, and you got to figure it out, and you got to be smarter. One of the things you can do is say, if I have to hire a lawyer to figure out if can trust you, I'm not going to do anything with you. I'm not going to go into business with you. I'm not going to do it.
Well, isn't that kind of like marriage too? That you have to get a lawyer involved, and
if I have to hire a lawyer to figure out if I have to trust someone, I really don't want to be involved in it.
Yeah.
I just say no to it. No. And if there is a contract, it's like, you can send it to me on one piece of paper in language that I can understand, or I'm not going to sign it.
That's the other thing, the legalese, as they call it.
I'm not going to be involved in it. I'm just not going to be involved in it. I just cannot do it. I will not do it. And so if you dumb it down enough, then you're not going to fall into these situations, and you're going to end up in relationships with people that you can trust.
Yeah.
And then that works out in your favor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it makes
but things like Spotify, I don't know. I mean, it's just I just think the genie's out of the bottle. I don't know much what you can do. How are you gonna force people to pay you for things that they're just taking for free?
Right. You can't.
Right. So you got to move on. You got to think of it another way.
So what do you guys? So that's why you guys tour so much, because you make all your revenue out of that, out of
we
merch
make some
sales.
revenue. We make as much as we ever did out of that. We do maybe a little better now. But you think of other things to do, interesting things. I think that the day is going to come where if you want something that's really cool, you're going to have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we don't make those cool things for people who can't afford them. Just like Lamborghini doesn't make a cheap economy car.
Yeah, there's no Corolla of the Lamborghinis.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah,
so nobody complains about that.
That's true.
You know, why are these cars so damn expensive? Poor people can't buy them. Right? Poor people can't buy lots of stuff.
Yep. You
know,
can't enjoy some of the things, certain
foods.
foods.
Fly first class.
Can't fly first class.
Should we not have that?
Right.
You
the
know?
options should always be there, and you shouldn't be mad about it.
If people want that, the market will tell you whether they can, whether it will work or not. Generally, and so what we do is, like, if we look at a hyper collectible record that we have selling for X amount on eBay or wherever else, we sell it for less.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That's the market.
Yep.
I don't make the market. I don't sell stuff on eBay. You know, like records.
Yeah.
You know, I've recently started. I had about 8 guitars I want to get rid of. I'm selling on eBay, but I'm having somebody else do it because I don't have an eBay account.
Right.
No interest.
I don't even know how to work that thing.
I mean, it looks like a cool deal, whatever. I mean, I look at stuff. I've bought a few things on there here and there, but by and large, I mean, that's the market.
Yeah.
That really is the market. And if somebody wants to pay, you know, I mean, we have done stuff like, you know, so you sell a record. Oh, here, we'll sell these records for $20, and they're immediately on another eBay or some other source like that for 70, 80, 150. It's like, okay, well, then we're being stupid.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to, if it's selling for $80 on eBay and you sell it for $60, it's a good, you're selling it for less than anybody else is on the planet.
Right. And why not get it from the source?
You're selling it for, you're giving people the best deal that they could possibly get that at.
That's happening a lot with concert tickets too. Like, they'll go on sale and then the next day they're $300. You know, when it was $30.
Well, scalping was always happening.
Yeah, that's true. Now there's just an easier avenue.
Now you might actually get the ticket.
Yeah. There's an easier avenue. You don't have to find some dude in the corner like I used to have to.
Right.
Yeah.
You might actually get the ticket. And where I grew up in Seattle, if you got busted buying a scalper ticket, not only would they take your money, they'd take the tickets.
Wow.
You know? So
they would bust you for buying it?
If they saw you doing it, they would come up and not only confiscate the money, but they'd confiscate everything.
Really?
And maybe throw the guy that's selling them in jail.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they should persecute the seller, not the buyer. The buyer's just a sucker, you know?
You're buying something illegally.
That's true.
You're involved in an illegal transaction. They don't give back drug money to people.
Right. That's
they
true.
bust them in the act. They're both going to jail. You know.
Well, in Miami, where I come from, if the cops bust you in the act, they just take your weed and smoke it themselves.
Yeah, they might drug test them maybe, but you know, I mean, a lot of people. I just, it's really weird to me. It's like people have this outrage about stuff, but they're willing to pay it. Mm-hmm. And it's like I don't know how that works. I'm not. You know, we could give these away for $5, and people would sell them for whatever the price is on eBay. That's how it works.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at, like, you want to go to a movie in Los Angeles, it's $15 to, $18.
It's ridiculous. You could just buy the Blu-ray for that price. You know what I mean?
But I love going to movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
if it's a big
love
thing.
going to movies. I love it. But I'm just saying. So, a $50 record that there's 500 of is it's not a lot of money.
No.
Maybe it is for people who can't afford it, but like I said, we're not making those for people who can't afford them.
Right.
We're making them for people. Essentially, the music is free on the internet.
Sure, if you want to hear it, you can just do that.
So the most important thing here that we're talking about is not the actual item; it's the music.
Yeah.
And that you can find on the internet all the time for nothing or next to nothing.
Right.
So I'm not going to listen to people bitch about this. Mm-hmm. It's like, you got this music for free. That's the important thing. That's the thing that changed my life.
Right.
Not the physicality of the vinyl.
Yeah, I feel
music did it.
The music is what draws you to it.
That's
for sure.
That's the magic.
Yeah.
The medium, it really means very little to me.
Yeah, for me as a consumer, I've gotten to the point now where I stream my music, but if I like a band and I can afford their whatever collector's edition package that they put out, then I buy it.
Of course.
And that's how I support, the people that I like that
of
I
course.
want to move forward. So.
You make cool stuff. We make extremely cool collectible stuff that is worried over and has our thumbprints all over it, and I think that's the future to me. We've been doing that for a long time. So far, no one has really taken it on in the way that we do because it's too much work.
Right.
Essentially most people are lazy and they don't want to do that. And then there's lots of people who will just walk past something like that because they're just not interested in it.
Yeah.
That's sort of like a letterpress or a silk screen record cover that has, it's hyper limited with crazy vinyl and writing all over it and all kinds of other crazy things that you can think of. They just don't care about that. Fine, that's fine. That's not the target.
Right.
The target is a kid or a person out there who really is interested in something that speaks to them in a human way. And it's an entry level into buying art.
Right. It is art.
It's an entry for people who can't afford a $10,000 painting. You can buy this thing from us for $50.
Yeah. A lot of people
totally
frame them.
Cool.
Yeah, they frame them, they put them up.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with that. I think it's completely cool. I totally see why people do it. And that's how it's made.
Yeah.
That is the audience. That's who it is for. The kid that's going to walk up there, because I understand art. I love art. I understand how it works, what's cool about it, what's important about it. And this is a way for people to get involved in that on a level like that. That's not, actually going to a gallery or something like that. But that's how it's perceived. Just like our band live, we're more of a performance art band. Mm-hmm. That's the way we've always perceived it.
Right.
As opposed to a rock and roll show, I mean, that's all fine, well and good, but that's just not me. It's just not us. Mm-hmm. It's more of a performance art thing than it is anything else.
And you guys put on crazy shows, man. And the
do our best.
The tone out there too, by the way, on stage. Yeah. Oh my goodness!
Those guys are all good players.
Yeah, and you got now the 2 basses on stage.
I love it.
So much low end.
Steven and Pinkus, yeah.
That's so great. How did that come about?
Well, we were friends with both of them. Both of them have played with us on their own, and we just happened to be in the same room together and came up with the idea to do it when we were recording Pinkus Abortion Technician with Jeff, and we go, well, Steven's here, let's have him play on some stuff, and just kind of went from there.
Nice. And so are you playing some of the older songs with 2 basses?
Oh, yeah. We redid the whole set. We do about a third old songs and 2/3 newer, meaning songs within the last 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, how many albums? Like 40 something?
A lot of stuff.
It's nuts. How do you keep it fresh? Like, how do you okay, so over the years, how do you change your writing technique or to keep it fresh for you? Not just for the fans, but just for the art itself. Like after so many records, like how
doing stuff like this,
doing adding 2 bass. I know you had 2 drummers at one point.
2 bass players. We had 2 guitar players for a while, a long time ago. And just a wide variety of things of that nature, And we're not slaves to our audience, You're
not evolving with the times either. You're not like, oh, we need to make a gent album or what do you call that? What was that dubstep shit that came out? You know what I mean? Like, you guys aren't trying to go with the flow of the currents. You're doing your thing, and you've been doing it for so long,
Yeah, but I feel like we are current. A lot of our stuff. We're not an oldies band.
No,
rely on it.
Not at all.
So,
yeah, like a lot of your older records, if you go back and listen to them now, they sound like bands that are out now. You guys, I always cite you guys as the most influential band because every band that I listen to sounds like you guys. Like they were influenced by you.
Know it or not.
Yeah. They have so many elements from you guys.
It doesn't bother me. I like that kind of thing. I mean, it's I also don't. I'm not like, oh my God, we've never gotten our due or anything like that. I got more than I ever thought I would. So I'm fine with that.
How much more do you think? Do you want to be on the road for? Because that's the toughest part of the gig, I would say, would be being on the road. As long as you. Are you guys doing the van? Is that how you do it?
We travel very simply. I can't do a bus thing. I'm not good on buses. I can't make it work. So we tour in a way that's reasonable for us to get from one place to another without driving overnight or anything like that.
Okay.
Like tomorrow we're playing here in Santa Ana. Tomorrow, and the long drive to L.A. And then
Isn't that home for
Fresno? Right, we're driving home tonight.
Yeah.
Then we play. After that, we play Fresno, all the way to Fresno.
Oh no!
It's like 3 hours. People sit in traffic longer than that. Just going home from work.
Yeah. Some people tell me when I tell them I'm coming out here to the observatory from Long Beach, they're like, but that's like 35, 40 minutes away. I'm like, yeah.
No, I can't believe it. How do you manage?
I don't know.
How you must have taken off like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it's an LA thing though. People don't hang out with each other if they're on the other side of town. Because in Miami, it's different, Like
LA's huge, though. It is big.
It is a big place, but like I lived in Miami for 20 years, and if I wanted to see a good show, I needed to drive to Orlando.
Oh yeah.
Or Gainesville, or
Not
something.
many people went down there. We played down there quite a bit.
Yeah,
actually.
Churchill's.
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. Have you guys played Churchill's? No.
I know. I can't remember the place we've been playing lately, but we played there a lot of times. Or the general area.
Right, South
to
Florida.
Me, it's like you're playing a L.A. could be a wide number of places.
Sure. Yeah. You could be in Malibu or whatever you want to call it.
Fort Lauderdale is pretty close to Miami.
Yeah, it's
people will go
30 minutes.
People will drive there to see a show. I would have if I would live there.
For
certainly, without even questioning it. And then, like we'll play Fresno, then we have a day off. So we'll drive to the hotel somewhere around Sacramento, and then drive to San Francisco the next day. Drive back to the hotel, play the show, and then we play Sacramento. It'll be like a 30-minute drive. I don't know how do we manage?
So you plan the trips, you plan the tour
carefully.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Not like these, we're going to play Louisiana and then play Dallas, Texas, where it's a 15-hour drive. No,
I don't do it. I just refuse.
It's not even worth it.
And we get booked by William Morris, who books tours like that, like you're saying, all the time. When we decide I don't want to do it, so we do it way in advance. We're very careful about it. I worry over it very carefully with the booking agents, going over every detail. Yeah. And they have no problem with that. Most bands don't sit down and get that personal with them.
Right.
I'm on the phone with them every week, even when we're not touring. I have a really close personal relationship with these people. And that's what I want. We talk about stuff all the time. How we're going to do it, what the best thing to do is, where to play, how to map out the tour. I do all that before I even talk to them.
And who picks the bands? Are you guys picking? You're picking the bands?
Yeah, all the time.
Very cool.
And so, it's just not that. It can get long-winded, and but it's not that big of a deal. It's not the worst job I've ever had, believe me.
Yeah, no, it's better than doing construction or working at McDonald's or
I've done all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But the construction for me was me at the dumb end of the tape measure, Well, somebody else wrote down the real stuff,
Yeah.
Or load all these 2x4s over there, Great. This is great,
Do you get time to golf?
Oh, yeah. Not on tour, no. I don't golf at all when I'm on tour.
Okay. So you do it when you're home, chilling?
I do it when I'm home. Home for me is like a vacation. It's when I do all the work as far as like planning out what else we're going to do, write music, plan out our next thing, whatever it is. I mean, 70% of my waking hours are spent trying to figure out how to make a living playing music,
Well, that's good.
I would say.
I think if you put all that effort into it, then and it's working. That's how it should be. Some people are like, I want to be a musician, but then they only dedicate 30% of their time to that, and then the other 70 they're dicking off or, doing something that's not related to what they want.
I don't know whatever it is people want to do. I think it's impossible to become successful at it, whatever it is, by only working 40 hours a week. I don't think it's possible to do it.
You need to work overtime.
You're insane to think that that's true. And what is a weekend?
Oh, no, yeah.
What are they talking about? I mean, this is for fools.
Right.
This is for fantasy fools who have no concept of reality, to me. Or they want to be mediocre and not successful at all.
Right.
I'm working my 40 a week and getting my weekends. Okay, well, then you will get to this certain level, and that will be the end of that.
Right. Yeah.
So be happy with that, and I don't want to hear any of your bitching that you don't have enough. Because I don't understand that kind of thinking. I don't understand that kind of work ethic. That's never been me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never, even when I had regular jobs, I always worked, if I needed to work 28 days in a row, I worked 28 days in a row because I wanted the fucking money.
Yeah. You need that money.
I did.
Yeah.
Nobody was giving me anything. It's like, okay, well, can I just put myself on the schedule for the next, 32 days? Sure.
Jeez.
No problem.
Yeah, and employers love that.
If you can, I don't like it when people tell me I can't do stuff like that. No, that would be we can't do that because then it would be overtime. It's like, it'll be overtime when I say it's fucking overtime.
Right. If you don't report it, then they don't have to.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it's like, this is between me and if I want to do this, I don't care who's trying to tell me I can't.
Right.
That's just bullshit. You know? If
Yeah.
I want to do this, it's up to me to decide that. And I didn't even know that I wanted to do that until you told me I couldn't do it. Oh, you're saying I can't do this. You want me to wallow in mediocrity my entire fucking life. You don't want to give me a chance to get out of debt. You don't want to give me a chance to pay off my mortgage. You're doing me a favor by not allowing me to work.
Right.
Fuck that. That's just fucking crazy. And people that go along with that will have that burden around their neck the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't break free of that cycle, like right now I'm in that weird space where I kind of stopped doing the 9 to 5 and I'm just focusing on this. I'm focusing on the show.
You work a lot harder on this than you will 9 to 5.
I'm working to the point where my body stops working.
Right.
Like that's when I stop. I don't stop like, oh, it's 5:30, got to stop. No, my body shuts down. I pass out on the couch.
And whatever
work.
takes.
Yeah, and that's
envision,
that's what you
execute. Do this. There's no rules.
Yeah.
You know, we have it really easy.
Yeah.
You know, people used to live to be about 35 years old, and most of their time they were spent trying to just find food.
Yeah.
You know,
I hear a lot
bust your ass. The more successful you get, the harder you should work.
Right.
You know,
it shouldn't be the other way around where like you're not doing anything and you're getting all of the things, you know.
No.
Maybe later in their 60, 70, you're retired.
Get nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're retired, like you worked your whole life, 50, 60 years, and now you're 70, maybe then, you know, you can cherish your whatever you earned in your life.
Here's the problem with that is that those people tend to be the top 1%. And so then these people come along and say that that's the enemy. So it's like you're telling me that a 70-year-old person who busted their ass their whole life is the enemy?
Jeez. Yeah.
Who they have money because they busted their ass their whole entire life, and you want to take that away from them? You want them to be broke in their twilight years? No, you go down there and you tell them that. Right. After years and years of them and their wife putting up with this crap, now that they're older, you want to take their money away from them? I don't want that job. You can go do it. You can be the asshole that goes down and does that shit because I ain't fucking doing it.
Right.
No. You go down and explain to them why they can't have what they worked their entire lives for because they're in some certain percentage. No. You can shove that shit right up your fucking ass.
So what do you think
people
we need to do?
People don't rethink this. They need to think about this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's not right. When you're 23 years old, you should not have as much money as somebody in their 70s.
Not at all. Or what was it, 17, like the Biebers and those type of the pop artists of the world?
He's earning his money. I just mean just because you don't have it at 23, you know, doesn't mean you're not going to when you're 70.
Right. You can still earn it.
Of course. People move in and out of those categories all the time.
Yeah.
But to say that those bastards in that top 5% are assholes and should give up their money, no. That's just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know, people need to think about this more. It's not
okay.
Well,
that requires people thinking. Yeah. And you know that we're not doing that these days. I'm trying every day, but generally most people are not thinking.
I just assumed no one is ever going to do anything for me and I needed to go out there and do it. Right. And to me, life is beautiful and the streets are paved with gold. You know, you go out and as long as you're willing to do this kind of stuff, it will work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know that. They think that, you know, they sit around and complain that we're not free anymore. We've lost all our freedoms. It's like, I'm sorry, but you can still get up and go do things.
What are they talking about?
Yeah. Nobody's holding you down. You're not in prison.
We live longer now. We have an easier life is better now than it's ever been on the face of the planet.
Yeah. We have access to the answers of every single thing in the universe in our phones, in our pockets. Any question you may have.
You have at your fingertips on the internet everything you will ever need that you would ever learn in college.
Right.
Everything. You don't need to go $200,000 in debt.
Nope.
You don't
anymore.
need to. Yeah. You don't need to do that. You know. And if you're really good, your college if you don't have a college education, it won't make any difference.
Right. That's where I'm
any difference.
Yeah.
The people that I know that aren't musicians that have done the best monetarily did not inherit their money and never went to college. Not one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not one of the guys that I know that are the most successful monetarily, you know, aside from musicians, who are just normal people, not one of them, the richest guys of those guys never went to college. Right. They didn't waste their time.
There's no point.
They worked.
Yeah. Most of my friends from high school went to college for 8 years, became like, you know, master civil engineers, and they're not working in that industry anymore. They wasted their time and their money on that. And then now they owe the school $1 million or whatever.
That you can't go bankrupt on.
Yeah, you can't go bankrupt.
Because it's to the government.
Right, they take it straight from
how that works?
Yeah.
You can go bankrupt on some other loan. You can go bankrupt on a car loan or a house loan. Sure, no problem. But do you think you can go bankrupt on a student loan?
Nope. It's all owned by the government. Yeah.
Because it's their money.
Yeah.
You know, no, this is bullshit. And I'm not going along with any of that crap.
Yeah,
no, I can't do it. You know, I can't think any of that's okay. But I have a very positive attitude, and I think as long as you're willing to take the good with the bad and think about things here and there as outside the box, everything will work.
Yeah.
Just stop being stupid.
That's I think this is the best thing I can do for people is have folks like yourself come out and say stuff like this.
Thank you.
Because I always sit around thinking like, man, how can we fix this? And there's no just get up off your asses, right?
You cannot get lucky sitting on your couch.
Right.
You know, it's like there's a thing thing from Ben Hogan, golfer. He said, you know, the more I practice, the luckier I get. It's like, right.
For sure. For
He
sure.
dug it out of the dirt. That is what you do.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh.
take the reins and do what you're supposed to do, whatever it is. And some people, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, some people have a hard time figuring out what that is too.
It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. They don't have the energy or the spirit to make that work. You know, so they're always going to be in a position where they're just never going to be able to, because they're just not going to do it.
Yeah. Do you think that's something they're born with, or is that something that they grow up with and it just kind of shapes them?
Certain people, a certain percentage of people will always be more driven than other people.
From birth? Like, or
I don't know, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Just like there's a certain amount of people who will commit all of the crime.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to stick up a liquor store tonight. I'm probably not going to do that. And I probably never will do that.
Right.
Other people will think that that's an okay thing to do, and they will go do that. But there's only a certain amount of those people.
Right.
You know? That's it.
And they need to be there, too, kind of as a contrast, right?
Well, I mean, if you get those people out of the picture, then there's not going to be people to take their place. Because it takes a certain mindset to do that.
Yeah.
Once they're out of the picture, there's not going to be more. Well, now I'll step up. I'll be the next liquor store robber. That's not going to happen.
Nobody
Once
gets
you get
promoted
them
to
out
that.
of there, then that sort of stuff stops happening.
It's just such a complex issue, though. Like trying to figure out, like what the issue. What are those people? How do you get rid of them? How do you preemptively figure out who these people are?
It's not
an issue.
our job to figure out.
Yeah.
It's their job to not do that.
True.
The only responsibility we have is to not do those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a corporation. Their only responsibility is making a profit legally. They have no responsibility other than that.
True.
None.
And some of them make their profits illegally too.
Then that's not okay. It's not acceptable. But if you make your profits legally, that's the only responsibility you have. Now, if you're smart company like that, then you will go, well, we're going to donate money to this charity because we want to look good. You know, but they don't have a responsibility to do that.
No.
They shouldn't be forced to do that.
Yeah.
If they don't want to do that, they'll suffer in the market as a result of looking like assholes. That will take care of itself. You don't need someone to come along and say, we're gonna stick it to you because you need to do good.
Right.
No, that's for them to decide. The only responsibility they have is making a profit legally. That's it.
Yeah.
The only responsibility you have a responsibility to be a good person. That's it. Now, it's not your job to figure out why someone else sticks up a liquor store.
It's a good way to look at it. You know,
It's not your job to do that.
I always tend to.
What happens is when they continue to do that, then they go, well, it's society's fault that he's doing it or she's doing that. No, it's their fault.
They're not blaming
doing that.
themselves, right? They're not pointing the finger
It's
at
their fault. Don't blame me because you can't keep from pistoling money away from people.
Right.
That's not my fucking problem. You know, that's my
true.
problem is making sure that I don't do those sorts of things. But when you're doing those sorts of things, that is not my job to figure it out. And I'm not going to be saddled with that job.
Right.
That's not okay to saddle me with that responsibility. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I hear you. I sometimes fall victim to wanting to help people, friends of mine,
you should
or whatnot.
help people.
No, not like just
On
that.
a personal level, absolutely. If you
Yeah.
think it's the right thing to do, you absolutely should. But you should not be forced to do it.
Right. There's a difference.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, the reason that he's doing all these things is because there's some sociological problem. It's like, that's just BS that we need to fix.
Yeah.
You know, generally that comes from a politician who's just trying to have a job.
Right.
You know, essentially. He's not going to fix shit
Yeah.
because that can't be fixed.
No, I hear you.
That's it. It's not the prison's job to make sure people don't commit crimes after they leave there. It's your job to figure that out.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you have to take it upon yourself to fix your life.
Just like in the music industry, if you want to go to Napster or whoever and see if they'll give you money, great. Maybe that'll work. But maybe it won't work.
Yeah.
So you have to be ready to have it not work.
Right.
And I'm not a guy that's going to sit there and complain about that kind of thing. I'm just going to keep moving.
Yeah.
Keep my feet moving.
It's the best thing you can do, man.
Rolling Stone, as they say, you know?
Yeah. And you've been doing it, man. You've been crushing it for, early 80s, 90s, early 90s?
Yeah, a long time. But we started making a living playing music in 1988.
88. There you
But
go.
until I jumped off that cliff and said that, you know, this is all I'm going to do, I couldn't do it. As long as I stayed with my straight job, then I couldn't make ends meet with music. But as soon as I jumped off that cliff, then it's like, okay, now you got to start.
You got to start busting
hustle your ass.
Yeah.
And what do? I'm going to make records and play live, and I'm going to make records that aren't going to alienate my entire fan base, and I'm going to do it in the way that I always did it, as far as like my mentality was, I think this is good. And sometimes that lines up with what millions of people think, but generally speaking, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as I make things that interest me in a way, and I've put my entire heart and soul into it, other people will like it. It probably won't be millions, but it will be enough.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and just keep moving. And what generally what that means is I've got to not do things the exact same way. I've got to constantly think of another angle on what is going on.
Yeah, without going too far over, like
Right.
like we were talking about, like not.
I have my entire career and history of music to look back on, and then do something else.
Right. If you could do something else outside of music, what would it be?
No, I mean something else musically.
Oh, okay.
I look at all the things I've done. I look back through all that and go, now what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well let's try this. Let's move on and do this, because making the same record over and over, or doing the same thing over and over, doesn't really interest me at all.
Yeah.
In the least. I look at people like David Bowie, changes his style millions of times. Those are my heroes. People like that, you know, or weird crap like Tom Waits. You know.
Yeah.
Those are my hero. Captain Beefheart. Those are the people
Beefheart,
that I
love
love.
it.
Those are the things that inspire me. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
For sure. I mean, you guys have done a good job of keeping it fresh every
We try.
time. You
Do our
try.
best. You know? I think so. I mean, I pride myself on having always played with people that were really good musicians, and the guys that I play with are really good players, and that really helps me a lot. I look at that. You know, look at somebody like Frank Zappa surrounded himself with good musicians.
Yeah.
It rubs off on you.
Yeah, and you have, like, you also had you did work with Fantomas with Mike Patton
Yep.
and all that. I saw you guys actually, I think it was opening for Tool many years ago.
Yeah. We did a whole tour with Tool.
Yeah, many years ago.
That was fun.
And that's such a fun experimental project too, you know, just.
Yeah, we don't do it very often. Wish we did it more, but, you know, whatever.
Is
Mike's
there,
deal.
You guys did stuff for Twin Peaks, right? Or there's there
We did,
Fantomas music?
we did a song, we did a Twin Peaks theme.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't. Patton may have done something with Twin Peaks, but
No, it was a Fantomas type of from what I heard.
we did a song.
Yeah, you did the song.
We covered the song.
Cool.
On a record that was all soundtrack covers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple fan questions real quick, and then
Okay.
we'll wrap it up so you can go back to playing the
worries.
show. Do your thing. Had someone ask me the idea of the 50 shows in 50 days tour.
51 shows.
51 shows in
Because
50.
we added DC.
Ah, okay. So how did that come about? Like just
I thought it would be a cool thing to do.
just hit
And
a.
you know, people. What was really funny is, and we did it. That was the best part. The people said, "You guys just did that as a publicity stunt." Well, duh,
Well, no shit. That's what we're doing.
duh. Yeah, we did it to raise awareness of our band by doing some crazy stunt.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. That is exactly what we did.
And it's not an easy thing to do. I
No,
mean,
it was hard, but we
especially
set
with-
it up really well. It was
Yeah.
really well planned out, and we did it. You know,
Nice.
good for us.
Yeah. Somebody wanted to know about your experience working with Sylvia Massey. Sylvia M.
Oh, that was fun. It was only one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quick. I mean, she was doing it for a TV show, so it was kind of more like we were there, and it was her thing. You know.
Okay.
Kind of one day, very quick. I would to say I actually worked with her would really be kind of pushing it.
And someone asked about rescue animals.
About
Apparently-
what?
Rescue animals. Apparently you are.
Well, I love dogs, and I love, I'm into that sort of thing. Sure, I don't do rescue. I don't have a rescue organization or anything.
Okay.
I'm a very big dog supporter. You know, we
Awesome.
have a new puppy
dogs?
right now.
You have a new one?
We have 3. Yeah, just now we have 3 dogs now. So
What breed?
one is a English Staffordshire Terrier.
Okay.
Named Gigi. She's about 11, and one is a Jack Russell Terrier named Buster, and he's about 9 or 10, maybe 9. And then we have the puppy is a American Hunt Terrier.
Wow.
They're
okay.
like a Jack Russell sort of, but they look kind of like a miniature Rottweiler, like the size of a Jack Russell Rottweiler coloring sort
Wow.
of. But ours is all black, which is odd for them, I think. We're just learning about this breed, so.
Nice.
My wife is super into dogs, and we've had them almost the entire time the 25 years we've been together. So
25 years. Congratulations.
yeah,
That's a long
22
time.
22 years of dog ownership with.
So that's do you have kids?
Nope.
Those
just
are your
dogs.
kids. Those
we
are
like
your
dogs
kids.
because you're less likely to you're not going to get thrown in jail if you lock them in a cage, unlike children.
Well, some people should be get thrown in jail for locking kids in cages, right?
I suppose as long as they don't tell someone, I don't see what the crime is.
Right.
Don't do it in public. Come on.
No, not in public. Not in public.
We're not savages. You know?
Well, I'm gonna let you get back to it.
All right, thank you so much, man. Thanks for the interest.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, and guys, keep following the Melvins, Melvins.com, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
The Melvins.com, something like
that.
that.
It's on the internet somewhere.
It's on the internet. You can find it. Cheers.
It's not for the size you need into my mouth. 914. Toss of force. Try to leave the foundling dies close to terminate. Raise hand and stop the blood. I'm not even shout rain. I'm alive. The